Once upon a time, in a quaint village near Benin City, there lived a prosperous farmer named Mr. Don and his beloved wife. They were blessed with 5 beautiful daughters, each a unique gem in their lives. However, the villagers often ridiculed the family, mocking them for having only girls. Yet, the family remained united and really happy. Mr. Don and his wife cherished their daughters and were determined to provide them with the best life possible. As the girls grew, Mr. Don, a man of means, sent them to prestigious private schools in Benin City, envisioning a bright future for each of them. Life was beautiful, and things were going on well with them until tragedy struck. Mr. Don's wife became sick, and despite all efforts made by the village doctor, she passed away suddenly. The loss shattered the family, leaving Mr. Don and his 5 beautiful daughters heartbroken. Now, a single father, Mr. Don struggled daily to care for his daughters. Each girl had her own personality and needs, making it an overwhelming task. Desperate for help, Mr. Don decided to remarry. However, finding a woman willing to embrace a family with 5 grown daughters was no easy feat. Who would take on such a challenge, knowing the children might resist accepting her as their mother? Meanwhile, a kind-hearted teacher named Felicia worked at one of the schools that Mr. Don's daughters attended. Felicia, a born-again and devout Christian, was single and had reached the age of 45 without marrying. She often faced mockery and scorn from her neighbors, community, church, and even colleagues in the office simply because she is unmarried. Despite her strength, these taunts often brought her to tears, making her contemplate leaving town to escape the relentless judgment from people around her. In her school, one of Mr. Don's daughters, Taka, often appeared sad and withdrawn from everyone. Felicia noticed this and took a special interest in her, offering support and a listening ear. Over time, a strong bond developed between them. In fact, other teachers and students in the school started noticing this new relationship. Oftentimes, Tacha would be seen with Felicia in the staff room, either eating from her plate or being helped with her homework. So at home, Tacha often spoke of Felicia's kindness to her father. Thus, Mr. Don became curious about this compassionate teacher. On the other hand, Felicia, though burdened by her own heartaches, eventually found solace in her faith and in a friend who had married later in life. They often prayed together, providing each other with much-needed encouragement. However, this solace was short-lived when Felicia's friend noticed her husband's undue interest in Felicia. Anytime Felicia visits her friend's house, the husband would love to chat with her and often laugh himself out because of the good heart that Felicia has. Her friend began to be jealous, and sooner that later, she thought to herself that if she does not do something about this, her marriage may crash, and she may lose her to Felicia. To protect her marriage, she asked Felicia to stop visiting their home, leaving Felicia feeling even more isolated. This makes Felicia to start asking what is wrong with her. Has anyone caused her? Who did she offend? She became so sad and considered ending her life because she felt abandoned by those she trusted and could not bear it anymore. As a Christian one day, she decided to attend the Sunday service. Though reluctant at first, she later attended the first service. There, she heard a powerful sermon that rekindled her hope and trust in the Almighty God. Inspired, she embarked on a 40-day fast and prayer journey, seeking clarity and peace from God. But on the 10th day of her fast, as she walked home alone, she was attacked by 3 young men who followed her, tore her dress, assaulted her, and left her shattered. Again? Felicia could not believe it, that another bad thing has happened to her. Hence, her faith was deeply shaken, and she again questioned why God would allow such a horrific event to happen to her during her fervent prayers period. Despite her trauma, Felicia went to the hospital for treatment, and by God's grace did not contract any diseases from the attack. In the midst of her despair, an old schoolmate, now married to a pastor, visited town and reached out to Felicia. This friend offered comfort and shared a prophecy that God told her about Felicia, that she would have her own children, a notion Felicia found hard to believe. With all the experiences she got in the last few months, the prophecy looked so impossible. Felicia looked up and down and said to herself, "I believe God would one day remember me. I have kept myself from living a bad life, yet I have faced so many bad situations. I know my Redeemer lives." Her friend also revealed in prophecy that Felicia had been living in disobedience. Felicia pursed and was initially puzzled when she heard it, until she recalled a long-forgotten dream, urging her to marry Mr. Don. She did not know it was God asking her to marry Mr. Don. So, unknowingly, she had ignored this call for some time because she taught to herself that she was unable to think of raising another woman's children. Meanwhile, Mr. Don, impressed by Felicia's kindness and resilience, did not relent in her interest in Felicia. After some time, he took courage and proposed to her again. After much prayer and a lot of consideration, Felicia accepted Mr. Don's proposal to marry her. They got wedded on a Christmas day with much happiness. Families and friends, including church members and colleagues in the office, were present at the ceremony. Many of them did not believe it. In fact, some of them came to see things for themselves and not to rejoice with Felicia. But God is greater than all of them. After the wedding, they had a short honeymoon, and because of Felicia's work in Benin City, the whole family moved into a large house in Ekenwa, bringing the family closer together. The daughters, initially skeptical, soon realized that Felicia's arrival was divinely planned. Though Tacha wanted Felicia as a stepmother, others were reluctant because they do not know Felicia very well, though they have heard about her kindness. Later, they embraced her as their mother, and the family thrived under her loving guidance. Soon, another tragic befell the family. Mr. Don became so sick that he died so suddenly before doctors could do any serious examination. This put the family into another round of grief. This time around, the daughters felt more like an orphan, but for the presence of Felicia in their lives, they would have been at the mercy of the relations who are eager to share Mr. Don's properties. Felicia now became the sole caregiver, relied on her faith to provide for the family. She managed the household with wisdom, ensuring the girls received a good education and moral upbringing. These girls grew up to become very successful women, marrying kind and God-fearing men and building their own families. Felicia's obedience to God's plan brought her immense blessings to her life. She gained not only the love of Mr. Don's 5 daughters, but also the joy of becoming a grandmother. Felicia's story stands as a testament to the power of faith, patience, and obedience to God's will. Her life encourages single ladies to wait on God's perfect timing, trusting that His plans are always for their good. Before we wrap up the story, let's quickly discuss a few lessons from it. Lesson 1 is about the value of resilience. Mr. Don's persistent dedication to his daughter's education and well-being, despite societal pressures and personal tragedies, teaches us that perseverance can lead to transformative outcomes for ourselves and those we care about. Lesson 2 emphasizes the power of education. By prioritizing his daughter's schooling, Mr. Don equipped them with the tools necessary to chase their dreams and break free from societal limitations, illustrating how education can open doors to new possibilities. Lesson 3 highlights the importance of unconditional love. Mr. Don and Felicia's commitment to their daughters, regardless of the challenges, shows that love and support within a family can provide a strong foundation for growth and happiness. Lesson 4 reflects on the impact of mentorship. Felicia's role as a mentor to Taka and the other daughters demonstrates how guidance from caring adults can significantly influence a child's development and confidence. Finally, Lesson 5 addresses the theme of redemption and new beginnings. Felicia's transition from dealing with personal adversities to becoming a loving mother and wife exemplifies that it's never too late to start over and make meaningful changes in life. God is always faithful to his promises. Now, let's test our knowledge of the story. Parents are encouraged to use this story to teach their children Christian values. To encourage them, parents might provide small gifts to reward their children when they answer the questions correctly. Question number 1 is, what are the main challenges Mr. Don faces in the story? Question number 2 is, how does education play a role in the daughters' lives? Question number 3 is, what qualities make Felicia a good stepmother? Question number 4 is, how does the story illustrate the impact of mentorship? Question number 5 is, what can we learn about facing adversities from Mr. Don and Felicia's experiences? Thank you very much for your time. Please remember to subscribe, like, and view more stories from this channel. Bye for now.